You just gotta trust him.
No, God, no. We just got baby.
But I can't go away.
Oh, yeah, right. Now you have to call my son. He fixes everything.
Grandson.
That too.
Open Friday.
Test. It works. We're going to use this one. Test. Is it still working? Okay.
Yep, you're on, Campbell.
Okay.
Well, it is. Everybody.
And from here we're good.
You gotta have it close.
So yes, if you're testifying, please hold it close so that we are able to hear you, because I can adjust it. It is on. But let me get the recording started one more time.
Well, thank you for your patience on that.
Can everybody hear me now?
Oh, a little closer.
I'm not gonna lick the damn thing, fix your equipment. As a matter of fact, I had a problem hearing you back here. Yours isn't working.
No, it's not.
Oh, that Jake, yeah. There's another wireless up there that Jake could use a different one. Test. Okay,
Either, yeah.
so Jake can have, there's the on and off right here.
That one works a little bit better. maybe.
Does this one work better?
Yeah.
That one's a little louder, I think, is that.
Okay. Test. Still good?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds like this one is going to be complete.
Anybody hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Sounds like a commercial. First off, I want to congratulate you folks for holding this meeting here so that the farmers who are in Burleigh County working with their cattle, or the people going to their jobs, or the mothers going to their jobs, or taking the kids to school, can't attend. And I really find that difficult to swallow in the sense that Public Service Commission of North Dakota can go to every county, but you guys, you can't go where the public input is. How many people here are from Burleigh County? One's a reporter, two are staff. Four people. So you're doing a real good job to stifle public input here. And whether you like it or not, that's exactly what you're doing. Now, this presentation that you gave, all nice on that screen, except you forgot to say one thing. You never put a damn dime into any of these projects. It's all funded by the state and by the federal government. You're irrelevant, except all you guys do is handle the money. And I've often wondered, what is your cut for handling the money? You must be making something off it, you ain't doing it for free. To say that 20 million here, and I think your budget last year was 200 and some million. You didn't pick it up from the counties. All you are is a pest. There is not a county like Burleigh County, Cass County, Grand Forks County that needs to belong to this Garrison Diversion District, period, because the same thing will happen. As far as water projects, which brings up another thing. You don't talk about the boundary waters anymore. Why don't the counties in Minnesota have to join? They're gonna benefit, they're gonna stick a hose in the river when this thing is all done. But Burleigh County and these other big counties have to pay for it. And I'm going to refer back to this meeting on the 9th of January. It was one of the meetings where you couldn't tell who was talking. The statement was made. Garrison District does not have to, Garrison Diversion does not have to finance water projects in Burleigh County. They have enough people in there to tax. What the hell kind of a statement is that? You guys did not do anything in 2011 when I was on the city commission at any meeting where you ever brought up helping down there when we had that flooding. But man, you're in flood control. What do you guys do? Go out in the morning and see if the river's flowing? We know that's happening. So you sit here and you take these grants. Counties are not allowed to give grants, by the way, by state law. So you take money from the county, give grants all over the place, pickleball courts, arenas, whatever, show parks, but you don't show how much money you put into it. You don't bring that up. You're not paying fully for it, but you're taking credit. You steal valor from the people that are paying the bill. And I will tell you one thing. This is gonna end because Burleigh County Commission has decided we are not gonna let you abuse our citizens anymore, and we want off the Garrison Diversion plantation. That's all it is. You're a pass-through outfit that pretends you're doing all this stuff. If you weren't even here, existing, everything would get done. Federal money for these projects at a committee meeting, county committee meeting. I asked the representative, how much did you put into this South Central Water Project? The answer, no. And of course, going back to that meeting in January, on the 9th, the person asked me, said, well, that's just a rec department. Well, I said, there's a lot of things that were said in there derogatory towards the county. And he asked, he said, well, you know, maybe we should just let it go. And I said, no. They should have issued a retraction. I would have pink slipped every one of you if you were working for my company. That was in that meeting. And I will tell you, this idea of getting your story straight for the legislature, you think they're stupid? I have got, and the county has, and another outfit for sure, copies of that meeting. You guys aren't transparent. You put the meeting on for a short period of time, it disappears. It's gone. But I will tell you one thing that we found out, and I'm the guy that, in case you want to know, that started the research on this in this movement. You can blame me, I don't care. And you're the guy that's smiling at me that knows if you give the Burleigh County $1 million, they couldn't come up with $2 million, you're sure of it. Well, I'm gonna tell you that's a fake statement. We can come up with it. So I hope the people that were involved in that meeting are really proud of themselves. But I'm gonna kind of get off of that. You claim key involvement, and the facts are MR&I dollars are federal. You do not design, build, operate, or maintain these projects. You handle the money, and the money is given to you to keep you relevant and keep a government entity that is long past its prime. Look at the acres. Has anybody figured out why nobody's irrigating out of the McCluskey Canal, the canal to nowhere? They don't want it. But boy, that's a great asset for us. You know, reality checks should be done once in a while. You're not pertinent to Burleigh County. And again, why aren't the counties in western Minnesota from Moorhead on up paying their way? They're gonna benefit. Tell me that's not true. Moorhead come out and said, well, they might just use it if there's a drought. But they don't put a damn dime in like Burleigh County does. And there is a way to get out of this plantation. If we're using that, we are not getting sufficient benefit for what we're putting into it. We're over $10 million. You were wrong in your number. You didn't include this year. We're about 10.3 million. And we get what? Maybe 850,000 back. Anybody here that's a businessman would fire an accountant that invested that way. And everybody said, well, it's just a little bit. This money can help the county. We also bring up the statement, if it wasn't for you guys, there'd be no development down south of Bismarck, but we helped them. Flood control. Well, Morton County does not belong to the Garrison Diversion District. And they developed their south side. They didn't have a problem. And like I said, I didn't see you guys around. As a matter of fact, the water board met, association met in Burleigh County this winter. And I listened to them on the radio about their plans for this, their plans for that. Not once did they mention Garrison Diversion. Because all you guys are a pass-through. And there's something wrong with that. Because you go out and you say, well, we're doing this, we're doing that. Where the hell is our money going? From junkets down to Missouri for lobbying or what? There is no county that needs to be in this joke, let's put it that way. Another thing that really bothers me, bragging about the Southwest pipeline. Stark County does not belong to Garrison Diversion District. But you say, well, we got authority over there. We're helping everybody. Well, then why aren't they counted and being taxed a mill? This sleight of hand is going to stop. One way or another, I guarantee you it will stop. As a matter of fact, it's my belief and another commissioner's belief, we should get our money back. We should not be financing riding arenas just because there's a puddle of rainwater outside and it's a water project. So, like the prevailing winds of west winds in North Dakota, the reason why there wasn't a retraction on what was said at that meeting was because that's the prevailing attitude of Garrison Diversion. We are not going to help Burleigh County. They got enough people to tax. We're not helping them for water projects, but we're going to go out and we're going to throw them a little, some feathers. We'll take the chicken meat and we'll give them feathers just to keep them in. And every time you guys go out and give a grant, I think quid pro quo, because you're going to expect the people getting the grants to support your operation. So like I said, this outfit's fake. Trying to stay relevant, not needed. North Dakota has a water board, just like every county. They could put 10 people up there and handle the money and get rid of a government entity that has lost its mission, doesn't deserve to be around, and talks arrogantly, and this really bothers me. There's 96,000 residents in Burleigh County. You see how many were able to show up. And to talk so derogatory at that meeting about it and laugh about it, you're having a party. I'm gonna tell you right now, this won't end here. You should have voted right away. So we could have gone further, but you found a loophole. And as far as this meeting here, well, that's precedent with Barnes County. That's lawyer speak. That's because the lawyers know. There's no statute that says you cannot go to Burleigh County to take public input. So it's all pretend, all fake. And I have not met one person yet that doesn't want out. If you'd have come down to Burleigh County, like you should have, multiply this little audience here by 10. But all it is a delaying tactic, because you gotta figure out how to do this. And we got a tough question from the legislature. That meeting confirmed everything that I was researching on you folks. The sleight of hand, to transfer money from one fund to another, let's call it slush fund, and get our story straight. You should review that meeting, because you come right out and said, to hell with you, Burleigh County. I think you get the picture. And I think going out and telling everybody, well, we got this done, we got that done, and pretending you did it, when all you're doing is handling the money, steal the valor that's due the people that did the work. This whole thing is kind of disgusting, but I'm going to close here because I'm losing my temper. But I will tell you one thing. We want off this plantation. You guys are out here picking the pockets of the people in Burleigh County and giving it to other places. So they support you because of a project, so you can stay relevant. Anybody that treats people like that doesn't deserve to be in government. I think I better quit, because it's getting worse. Oh, and by the way, for an outfit that had a $200 million budget, and the speakers don't work, come on down to Burleigh County, we'll show you how to fix it.
Burleigh County Commissioners? Any other Burleigh County Commissioners give testimony?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. With that, then the floor is open to anyone favoring Burleigh County petition. So I need, yep, Burleigh County in favor.
Garrison Diversion Conservancy District Board Chair. My name is Curtis Junt. I live in Burleigh County, north of Bismarck, my wife and I. I'm here in support of the petition for Burleigh County to be removed from this Conservancy District. I understand the mission that you all have put on your website. The Garrison Diversion Conservancy District is committed to securing a stronger future by providing a reliable, high quality, and affordable water supply to benefit the people of North Dakota. Our focus goes beyond a dependable drinking water supply. We also aim to provide opportunities for industry, the environment, agriculture, recreation, and development of our natural resources. So, what I've paid particular interest to your efforts for years has been the Red River Valley water supply, because my home away from home has been Fargo. Family there, grandkids there, and I love Fargo. Went to NDSU, but the energy industry brought me back to Bismarck 44 years ago. I was raised in Burleigh County, I live in Burleigh County, and I love Burleigh County and what we have going there more than and I've lived in a lot of other places. So, a couple things. I see the benefit to ensuring during a severe drought situation that one of our largest cities and our second largest city are assured a water supply. That's Fargo, the Red River Valley. But the funding of that has come through federal and state monies. What we're here today to talk about is removing Burleigh County's 1 mill that has really nothing to do with what has become your primary mission. I don't think you could disagree with that. So we have 75 acres in Burleigh County out of 1,632 square miles, which is over 1,024,000 acres. So you're providing Burleigh County with 0.007% of irrigation. So to me, that's irrelevant. For the $10.3 million since I imagine 1988, now keep in mind that's 38 years. So as an economist, I can tell you that 10.3 million that's been increasing with the pretty significant growth in Burleigh County, especially these last 13 years, I would say that number, if you use like 5%, you have to use kind of what your opportunity cost of borrowing is. We're probably talking over $20 million. I haven't done the number, I don't have the year-by-year contribution. I'd love to have it, I'll run the numbers for you, what the present value of 38 years is. It's not 10.3 million, it's significantly higher. So we've had people testify just recently at Burleigh County saying, you know, it's only $24 or $40 on my property tax bill. Well, that's beside the point. It's $760,000 a year to Burleigh County. What we have, Burleigh County Commission is trying to do everything it can to reduce our property taxes. We have projects that we don't have funding for. One of them, I believe, is recreation. So we put in $10.3 million. You've given us 8.4% of that back, which is $870,000. So to me, as an economist, that doesn't really work. The benefit of what you're doing, primarily, in my opinion, my view, and your effort and your staff, really does rely or is focused on the Red River Valley water supply. That is a federal state project. I see the benefit of it. I'm not against that. I love Fargo, but I love Bismarck more. And I just think it's an injustice to have us continue being a part of this 760,000, and soon it'll be way over 800,000, because I can tell you that there is not anything that you're giving us back. Like you raised your grant, your last recreation meeting, you thought the solution would be to raise your grants from 50,000 to 100. Well, for us to pay 760,000 and apply for 100,000, that doesn't make sense. I mean, Burleigh County has the ability, you're correct, to fund its own recreation projects. We really don't need to be applying for grants from you all. So your mission creep is troubling. I know you're taking a lot of money because property values and properties have gone up in this state, especially over the last, dozen or more years. Fargo really has grown the last 20 years. So your revenue streams are coming in, and you're figuring out how to get rid of the money. So I would encourage you for nothing more than to do the right thing. I don't understand why there was a petition from Burleigh County Commission in 1988. I don't think they understood what you all did, because I don't see where you provided us any real benefit for irrigation, water supply. You just cut me off, no?
No.
Okay, water supply, I'm almost done. Water supply, recreation, or anything. I really don't see what you all have done for us. So I don't know in 1988 why they petitioned. I don't think they really understood what the situation was. And in 1988, I'm sure the number was probably maybe 100,000 or less. So maybe they felt the impact was not that big a deal. But today it's a big deal, and it's a growing big deal. And just for PR's sake, your focus is River Valley water supply. Burleigh County citizens are paying for that through our federal taxes and our state taxes. We don't need to be paying for this. We just don't. Thank you.
Okay, floor is Floor is still open on the, in favor of Burleigh County petition. Anyone else from the audience in favor of Burleigh County petition?
It's on.
My name is Tim Stolick. I actually am from Stutsman County. I lived in Burleigh County for about 30 plus years, but my question really comes down to, really, if you release Burleigh County, I'm in favor of them getting out of this. I'm actually in favor of dissolving the whole Garrison diversion because I do not see a realistic return on investment for the taxpayers. What I see you're spending money on, and it's being, you guys, just like every other government agency, you have a tendency to have a spending problem. You spend a lot of money on very wasteful things, nothing to do with water. I look at the 24 budget, and you guys spent over $1 million on grants, but only probably about $750,000 on actual water projects. But anyway, my question kind of comes down to, is you're gonna lose about $750,000 probably from Burleigh County. What are you going to do? Are you going to quit spending or slow down your spending? Or are you gonna turn around, if you lose that money, are you gonna turn around and increase the mills to the rest of us? What you guys really need to think about that and determine that you need to quit wasting the taxpayers' money and cut some of this non-essential spending. That's all my comments are.
Okay, floor is still open for public comment favoring Burleigh County petition.
Can I make one more little quick comment, please?
Yes.
Just from what the gentleman said here. First of all, it would take the state legislature to change the mill. I mean, that's been in place since 1955, I think, so 70 years. Secondly, one of the things we hear about, which would have been nice for you all to take the opportunity and come and sell what you're doing and come to Bismarck and sell to the people your justification for why Burleigh County needs to stay in it. And you passed up on that opportunity, which is sad. But if part of your pitch is this is a state benefit, which providing water protection for Fargo and the River Valley and what's going on out there is a benefit to the whole state for tax base and everything else. That's a huge economy for our state. But that's a benefit to the entire state. And again, River Valley Water Supply is not funded from our mills, it's funded from federal state dollars, just like Southwest Regional Water Supply. You just administered the money. So if it's a benefit, if you view our participation in Burleigh County and what you're doing as a benefit to the whole state, then there should be 25 more counties added to it, and drop the mill levy to half of what it is. But one mill they're mandated for that. So that comes into them and they get all this money pouring in, they gotta figure out how to spend it. So that's part of the problem.
Okay, floor is still open for public comment favoring Burleigh County petition.
Good morning, committee. My name is Mark Splonskowski. I wasn't actually planning on saying anything this morning, but I figured I should probably say a few words here. Like Mr. John said, I do see the value in what you guys do. I do see the value in the projects that you help out with, you help fund. I have some disagreements with what you do, but we all disagree with each other. Thank you. On some things, and that's just the way it is. However, that being said, I really would appreciate you considering Burleigh County's request, simply for the fact that I also think that this should be something that is more of a statewide program, because anybody in the state can take it, can receive your help, can take advantage of the services that you guys do provide. The Burleigh County Commission in 1988 did vote to join the district, and I get that in Century Code the way to get out of the district is much different than the way to get in. However, the commission has voted to be removed from the district as well. So based on that, I do see the value that you guys do provide to the state as a whole, but I would also encourage your consideration of Burleigh County's request. Thank you.
Okay, floor is still open. Public comment favoring Burleigh County's petition. Anyone else? Yep. Anyone else in the audience? I'm favoring Burleigh County's petition. Okay, hearing none. Now the floor is open for public comment to oppose Burleigh County's petition.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Ken Royce. I know all you fellows that sat on this board for 16 years as a representative from Burleigh County. Before that, I sat on the county water board for 22 years, so I think I'm a water guy. You folks are all water people. And first off, I want to commend you folks, every one of you on this Garrison board. I said you're water people, but you're more than water people. We've got county commissioners, we've got city mayors, city councilmen. You folks represent your communities on school boards and park boards, any number of community organizations, and so you should all be proud of your makeup. You're certainly not a scam. You're a legitimate board set up by North Dakota state statute, and even though you only represent 28 counties, I don't know if you know this, but that's over 80% of the population of North Dakota. So when you speak on behalf of those 28 counties, you're talking about 80% of the population of North Dakota. Now, I've given you written comments. You've got that in your packet. And in my written comments, I have 3 attachments. One attachment was a packet that Garrison provided to the county commission in December, maybe several times actually, but at least in December of their 2025 meeting. It showed all the benefits that Garrison provided Burleigh County. So to say that they've never been shown the benefits is not true. They've been shown the benefits in great detail. In fact, in their own response, they list 9 projects, or 9 or 10 projects that they admit they've got financial support from. In my package, there's also a letter from Warren Jameson. You folks recall Warren Jameson was the manager of Garrison when Burleigh joined the program. He probably retired 20 years ago, but he was a very influential person in the state of North Dakota. He has a letter he wrote to the Burleigh County people in the 90s, talking about the benefits. At that time, that's in the packet. And I also put in my written testimony as attachment some notes of a large effort that Garrison made in Burleigh County in 1990 to create a huge irrigation district in Apple Creek. I believe Houston Engineering did it at the time, and it was over 30,000 acres. They spent a tremendous amount of staff time and resources trying to get an irrigation project started. It didn't go, not because of Garrison, it didn't go because the farmers in Burleigh County didn't want it to go, but the effort was made. So when I talk to you about my testimony, I want to focus on 3 things that I provided you in writing. I want to talk about the hard dollar benefit to Burleigh County and the non-quantifiable benefits, and this issue of losing our focus on the scope of our work. And that's all in my attachments. So like I said, the county in their response, they acknowledged that they got a hard dollar return on 10 projects. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was a hard dollar return. Garrison actually had provided the county with information that was over 30 projects. They only listed 10, but it's over 30 projects since starting about the mid-1990s. It's not a dollar-for-dollar exchange when you join Garrison Diversion. That's not how it works. Let's talk about South Central. A gentleman made the comment that the input, the time value of money is greater than the $10 million they've inputted. Well, certainly the $60 million that South Central has time value of money too. What would it cost to build South Central today? $200 million? That's not inconceivable. And a point's been made that's not been Garrison money. Where do people think that money came from? It came through programs that were supported by Garrison Diversion. It started with the oil development tax in 1991. Does anybody think that oil development tax would be here today if it wouldn't be for efforts of Garrison Diversion and similar programs? From there, it went to the tobacco tax refund. Then it went to the ARA funds in the Obama administration. Then it went to, the COVID relief funds. These are all programs that Garrison Diversion has had a seat at the table at to bring to North Dakota. How does that money get to North Dakota? How does it get to the federal government, to the state of North Dakota, except for the efforts of Garrison Diversion and other programs like us? They wouldn't exist. South Central would probably still be building today with a very limited funds if they wouldn't be for these federal programs. Prior to 1991, there was no state program for state dollars. That came with the oil extraction funds. That's why Burleigh County joined, in all likelihood, joined the district. They wanted political pull from Garrison Diversion to get funds for their program, and they got it. That's South Central. It's a competitive process. Today, as we sit here, North Dakota has $600 million in their account for water projects. Their demand for projects is over $2.5 billion. One of every 4 projects gets funded. Why do they get funded? It's not because of good luck or happenstance. It's because Garrison Diversion and other organizations like us go to this table with the State Water Commission and the legislature, and we advocate. In 16 years I was with Garrison Diversion, I never heard Garrison Diversion ever oppose a water project. That's true. In fact, Garrison Diversion is on record of supporting water projects through the entire state. But the difference is, Garrison Diversion advocates for their members. They might support South Central, but they'll advocate for Burleigh County. They might support Morton County's efforts, but they'll advocate for what's happening in Burleigh County. And that makes all the difference at the state legislature. And going and looking in the future, right now as we speak, South Central has a need for a $60 million water treatment plant. How are they going to get that funded? They're going to get that funded through state and federal programs, which Garrison Diversion is going to be advocating for on behalf of South Central. City of Bismarck has a $75 million flood control project they need. How are they going to get that funded? Through advocation by groups like Garrison Diversion. Take Garrison Diversion out of the mix, you put those projects at risk. We're running out of time, Mr. Chairman. Let me just conclude. The biggest benefit, maybe one of the biggest benefits for Garrison Diversion is what you can't quantify. If you're going to go to Burleigh County today and ask the people in Burleigh County, and this includes the county commissioners, who is the representative from Burleigh County and the State Water Commission? They wouldn't know. What's the current cost share policy from the state for Burleigh County, for South Central? They wouldn't know. What's the criteria to get a state grant or a federal grant? They wouldn't know. What's the threats to Burleigh County from the downstream states to use the Missouri River water? They wouldn't know. What policies does the Corps of Engineers have that will adversely affect the use of water in the Missouri River in Burleigh County? They wouldn't know. And in fairness, they shouldn't have to know. They should have people like Garrison Diversion who knows the answer to those questions, and Garrison does know the answers. In fact, I doubt that Burleigh County knows that Dwayne DeCraig just last week met with representatives of the state of Missouri to talk about these issues on behalf of the entire state of North Dakota, on behalf of Garrison Diversion too, on behalf of Burleigh County. But the advantage Burleigh County has is they've got a staff that does know the answer to these questions. It's called their Water Resource Board. They've got 5 people on their County Water Resource Board that would know those answers. That same County Water Resource Board voted in November or December of 2025 to keep the membership in Garrison Diversion. 5-0. Every one of them says stay in the Garrison Diversion project. The county disregarded that input from their own professional staff, their County Water Resource Board. So I'm going to conclude on one time on that. I'm going to conclude, and I hope this board follows state law, follows state procedures, maintain Burleigh County in the district for all the issues I've just talked about, which you can quantify and certainly what you can't quantify. Thank you.
Floor is still open for public comment to oppose Burleigh County's petition.
Good morning, Chair Anderson and members of the board of the Garrison Diversion Conservancy District. My name is Danny Klissel. I'm here on behalf of the North Dakota Water Users Association, and the North Dakota Irrigation Association, both of which are headquartered in Bismarck and Burleigh County. Thank you for the opportunity to provide this testimony regarding Burleigh County's petition to be removed from the Garrison Diversion Conservancy District. Both of our organizations are statewide membership groups dedicated to the advancement of the use of water resources in North Dakota for the benefit of all North Dakotans, with a particular emphasis on irrigation. The Diversion is an essential partner for both of our organizations in achieving our shared goals. Through the collaborative efforts of the broader water community, of which Garrison is a leader, we have successfully advocated for sound water funding and practical, effective water management policy that benefit all Diversion members, including projects within Burleigh County, such as the municipal water initiatives that directly serve residents in the city of Bismarck. Garrison has also been an invaluable resource to our groups as we advocate for funding and policy changes at the federal level. Their expertise and relationships, in particular with the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, have helped us profoundly as we educate our congressional delegation and agency staff on the needs of North Dakota. Garrison has also demonstrated strong leadership in supporting irrigation development throughout its member counties. In 2024, Garrison partnered with the North Dakota Irrigation Association to conduct a comprehensive feasibility analysis evaluating irrigation potential across the entire state. That analysis identified an additional 59,800 acres in Burleigh County as suitable for irrigation development. At least some of those acres are irrigable due to the existence of the Canal, which delivers Missouri River water for irrigation. As a result of this study, ag producers in Burleigh County can now use GIS tools to determine whether their land may be viable for irrigation. Because irrigated acres can generate up to 5 or 6 times the economic output of dryland acres, this development represents significant potential benefits, not only for individual producers, but also for rural communities and Burleigh County's broader economy. Without the partnership of a strong Garrison, the good work of the North Dakota Water Users Association and the North Dakota Irrigation Association, who have almost 50 members in Burleigh County that represent either individuals, organizations, or businesses, as well as the overall water community in North Dakota, the work that we do will be severely hindered. We believe maintaining Burleigh County's participation in Garrison is important for the continued strength of Garrison and is appropriate given the varied benefits citizens of large and small communities, as well as rural areas of Burleigh County receive from their participation with Garrison. For these reasons, we would respectfully request a no vote on the petition from Burleigh County. Thank you.
Okay, floor is still open for public comment to oppose Burleigh County's petition.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair Anderson and members of the Garrison Diversion Conservancy District Board of Directors. My name is Kevin Klipfeld. I'm the Executive Director for Bismarck Parks and Recreation District. Since 1993, the Garrison Diversion Recreation Grant Program has supported 19 projects for the district, investing more than $800,000 in recreation for our community. These grant dollars have been matched by local, state, federal, and private resources to complete projects with significant impact, health, environmental, and community benefits. Examples of successful projects, and you've seen a few up there on the slideshow today, include accessible playgrounds, shared use trails, and a free splash pad. The list of projects is attached to my written statement for your reference. Public recreation is essential infrastructure that helps make Bismarck a healthy, active, and sustainable community. Our park district attracts businesses and workforce to our city, improves physical and mental well-being of our residents, preserves water and air quality, and offers spaces that enhance social connections and build a strong sense of play. Grant support, including the Garrison Diversion Matching Grant Program, have played an important role in helping us bring projects to life and improve the well-being of our entire community. Thank you for your support.
Okay, floor is still open for public comment to oppose Burleigh County petition.
Mr. Chairman, John?
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Diversion District, my name is Klaus Lemke. I have the privilege to be a legal citizen. I'm an immigrant from Germany, and I came to this country in 1965. I lived in Fargo and Moorhead area for a number of years, and then I moved to Bismarck, and I had the pleasure serving Burleigh County for 20 years as county commissioner. 10 of those as the chairman. I don't know why, but that's just the way it worked out. Rotation didn't work. I think we were collectively smarter than that, and then just take anybody out of rotation. I think there's a better way to do it. Get the ones that wants to do it, get the ones that can do it to elect that. Anyhow, I was also past chairman of the North Dakota County Commissioner Association and a few other things, statewide offices that I've held. I remember, and I talked to myself about these things, Bismarck or Burleigh County really benefits from the dam in Garrison. Look at, and that was not paid for by locals either. That was paid for by the federal government. And we have this beautiful water along the river. All those people along the big wide Missouri, they have this gorgeous benefit. And I believe strongly that we need to share that with everybody. Fargo or Jamestown, they all have the same benefit of this is our river. This is our water. And that's how I feel about that. The Resources District does a great job here. We use it for residential and commercial, industrial. And when you look at it, what is more important than water? What is more important than water? It's the sun. That's the only thing that's more important than water. And without water, we would be nothing. And you guys have a tough job, I think, to make sure that there's some equal benefits, and that takes a lot of give and take here and there. And I am proud of the fact that you saw my signature on that 1988 agreement where I was the chairman of the Burleigh County Commission. And I stand by that, and I want to compliment you for a job that's not always easy, pulling in several directions. That's of course the job of any government entity, and I've had the enjoyment of doing that for 20 years in Burleigh County. Thank you for your attention, and I appreciate being able to testify.
Floor is still open. Public comment to oppose Burleigh County petition.
Good morning to the representatives of the C District. My name is Michael Gunch. I'm a resident in the city of Bismarck and therefore Burleigh County. Sometimes the two seem to get confused at times. Since I wear many hats, many of you know me from different areas and associations. I want to make it very clear from personal and professional. I am here on my own, for myself today only. So even though I may be associated with those other entities, the statements I have today are from me. I provided a thumb drive already with the documentation that is in my statement. There's 6 different documents here. Some of them have already been alluded to, but I'm going to touch on a couple of them that are important. Number 1 and 2. The first is a feasibility report and a proposed environmental statement on the Apple Creek unit. That was irrigation in Burleigh County. That was done in 1980. Prior to that, the second one, which is resources of the Apple Creek area in North Dakota, which was done in 1973 by the Bureau of Reclamation. Those 2 documents show the feasibility, and I noted in the presentation from the C District, there's irrigable lands in Burleigh County. Now with the subsequent revisions with the Dakota Water Resources Act and stuff, 76,400 acres, if I remember the number correctly, does limit the potential for irrigation in Burleigh County. However, there has been some efforts to talk about irrigation in Burleigh County, and I want to allude to one of them. The Apple Creek from January to April of 1994 steering committee. I was specifically part of that. I was the engineer on the project. That was a collaborative effort of the Burleigh County Commission, the Water Resource District, and the Conservancy District to look at Burleigh County and say, hey, what can we do? What can we offer? Because the same discussions, you heard Warren Jameson's letter, and I'll get to it in a little bit. I provided one of the documents of this particular report that has his letters in it. In essence, that wasn't a failure of the Conservancy District, because the Conservancy District was pushing to say, you know, what can we do, how can we help? That was the citizens or the landowners, not the citizens of Bismarck, I want to clarify that. That was the landowners who basically said, and you'll see in my testimony, there are words I will not use in this room as to where we could go with the water. Now, I was 35-year-old, and I was a little naive at the time as to what the value of water was to the citizens of Burleigh County. However, when I look at the list of names of the people who were involved in that process, and obviously Klaus, you know, standing for 1988 and signing the petition to actually join the C District, there's a lot of those people that aren't around anymore. Or if they are around, they're retired, and they well deserve that. But they had a vision as to what could be done with water for Burleigh County. The monies that are invested, and I call it an investment, from the mill levy into the C District for operations and moving that stuff forward. None of the other federal dollars would be here were it not for the C District and their opportunities that they put forward. So what I have on that steering committee, and I'm just going to touch base on it. The mission statement of that steering committee. The Apple Creek Steering Committee is a cooperative effort of wildlife, agricultural, urban, and recreational interests to prepare a conceptual development plan for the delivery and beneficial use of waters from the McCluskey Canal into Apple Creek in Burleigh County. That effort failed. Just put it right out there. And it didn't fail because of the Conservancy District. It failed because the residents of Burleigh County told us to go take a, fill in your adjective. In 2008, it's when the record, we went out and looked at it again and said, okay, here are the benefits to Burleigh County, or the potential benefits to Burleigh County for supplying water. That list is in that document, or attached to that document. I think it's important to understand those values are still there if the citizens of Burleigh County and the Conservancy District can get together and work towards that effort. Now, granted, understand the mill levy is not to build projects. The mill levy is for operation and maintenance and other activities that you set forth and some of them discussed today, and I greatly appreciate that. The fourth document is the 1994 GDU Burleigh County final meeting letter that documented why things failed. And it gave the vote to the people who were on the steering committee and how they felt relative to that failed effort. The other one, item number 5, is the Warren Jameson letter, which basically outlined the process, and that the Bureau of Reclamation at that point in time was roughly $3.3 million in staff dollars. They're residents of Burleigh County, they're residents of the city of Bismarck, and they are a benefit. Even though we don't recognize them, they may be indirect because they live there. One could argue they might not be there anyway. Well, there's a couple of different aspects. There's Warren Jameson pointed out that in a letter to South Dakota, when South Dakota went through that, the Bureau of Reclamation left town when their project went wayside. So that benefit is completely gone. I think it's important to understand the 6th item here, and that is the Barnes County case. And I'll conclude with this. There's clearly a misunderstanding and unwillingness to recognize the process of what's going on and the benefits to Burleigh County. This petition process to get out and walk away from being a state leader in water development is not the process. There are other things that can be done. I'm an engineer by trade. I'm a solutions-based person. There are many other things that can be done to benefit Burleigh County and make sure Burleigh County gets its rate of return. But if you're thinking about it being a $1 in and $1 out, that's not happening. That's not what this process is about. So I thank you for the time and greatly appreciate it. If you check the thumb drive, make sure my statement's in there. If not, I'll give you a paper. Thank you.
Okay, floor is still open for public comment to oppose Burleigh County petition. The floor is open for public comment to oppose Burleigh County petition. Anybody else? Last opportunity. Okay. Here it is. With that, this is the conclusion of the public comment period. And with the conclusion of this hearing, and the testimonies are in, want copies of them, want information, this open meeting, copies are available. With that, board will take it under consideration at a public meeting and act on the same. With that, this hearing is now closed.
I'll take that.